Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. If you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, you're in the right spot. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Hey, today I'm angry as hell. Robert Brooks, 43 years old, an inmate at Marcy Correctional. He was just being transferred from Mohawk Correctional to Marcy. He didn't make it in the door without being beaten. He was murdered to death on the morning of December 10th, 2024. That is, by my calculation, a month and a day to the day, a month, 31 days ago, folks. This is an outrage. I am disgusted with the state of New York, with the governor, Governor Kathy Hochul, with the powers that be that are in charge of the New York State Department of Corrections, and everybody who has had a hand in this. There's now 18 people, including a female sergeant. I've got the names. I'm going to list them in a few minutes. A new set of people terminated, fired by the New York State Department of Corrections. Where are the arrests? That's what I ask you. Where are the arrests? I witnessed, just like you did, a murder on video, on body cam video that was unbeknownst to these criminals, these murderers, was recording the death of Robert Brooks. The new four are Sergeant Christine Ploss, and this was as of this week, I believe the 10th, Friday. Sergeant Evan Thisse, Thisse, Correction Officer Jared Popple, and Registered Nurse Patricia Matos. I also want to just quickly acknowledge, we did this in a post, the horrific fires in California. Our friends, our community, my family lives in Southern California. They're not affected by the fires, but to all who have lost their homes, some 10,000+ homes burnt and businesses, including houses of worship. So I send prayers to the people of Southern California and Palisades and all the different locations. A lot of strength and positive vibes. But this is more important for me to talk about today because Robert Brooks deserves justice. His family deserves justice. Now, despite what anybody has said to me about his criminal past, no crime justifies murder. And what we saw on tape, and let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments section, your thoughts. We witnessed 13 correction officers, 2 registered nurses or 2 civilian staffers watch this inmate get beaten to death. And in my opinion, Mr. Brooks was deceased inside Marcy Correctional in the infirmary before they took him out of there, because I watched all the body cam footage. I didn't play it here with you guys, but I watched all the body cam footage, and I'm going to tell you, he looked lifeless on that table, and it's so hard to watch it. And justice needs to be served. Why in God's name? And I look straight at the camera and say, why in God's name, Governor Kathy Hochul, are you not doing your job? You are in charge of New York State. You run New York State. You have the authority to order the arrests of these monsters who committed this heinous act upon another human being. And this is not their first rodeo, ladies and gentlemen. This is not their first rodeo. So let's take a look. Let me just play this clip real quick for you guys. Again, this is on the new arrests. And look, YouTube is, every time I go live with this type of video, they suppress it. They don't share it out. So I ask you guys to just share it onto your social media. If you're watching the replay, make sure you share it out. This is something that the news is not talking about. No news for 2 weeks. They ran the story 2 weeks ago, and now they're not talking about it. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing that people are just not wanting to talk about this. And I'm going to shout it out from the rooftops. Listen, the good correction officers that are out there, men and women that are doing their jobs, I salute them. It's not an easy job. But these ones that we witnessed on camera, there's no way. There's no way that they could be free. They were home for Christmas and New Year's, celebrating the holidays with their families, while the Brooks family was burying their loved one. How does that work? How is that even right that could happen? Let's take a listen.
Developments in the death investigation of Robert Brooks, beaten inside Marcy Correctional Facility last month.
The state moving to fire 4 more prison workers, and that brings the total number of those involved to 18, one already resigning. As the investigation has continued, and based on the evidence that's been gathered, these 4 individuals have been given notices of discipline.
Now, and here, this news station, this is local news up there. This is like a local outlet up there. They're saying that they were given notices of discipline. This female sergeant, I saw her come walking up after the beating was done. I saw this corrections officer and the other male sergeant, and then another registered nurse. But if they saw this and didn't report it and didn't report anything, again, I don't know if they were there for this beatdown that we see depicted here, this murder. For them just being in the presence and not maybe filing a report or not saying something, it looks like they are now facing disciplinary consequences and so forth. But again, this thing has got my blood boiling because it's 31 days later. It's more than 30 days later, and no arrests, none. 0.
Developments in the death investigation of Robert Brooks, beaten inside.
And notice the reporter says a death investigation. These reporters should be saying murder investigation, not a death investigation. Good to see Mark Zayas in the chat. Also good to see Russ Hamilton, my friend, former correctional officer, Party Tier Talk. Good to see you, Russ. Thanks for joining. All right. Total BS. This reporter calls it a death investigation.
Developments in the death investigation of Robert Brooks, beaten inside Marcy Correctional Facility last month.
The state moving to fire 4 more prison workers, and that brings the total number of those involved to 18, one already resigning. As the investigation has continued, and based on the evidence that's been gathered, these 4 individuals have been given notices of discipline. Onondaga County District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick has been assigned as a special prosecutor in the death of Brooks after the state attorney general recused herself from the case.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said it good in the chat. Blah, 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 blah. All right. What's even more interesting is the list
with ties to Central New York.
Okay. All right. Quiet down now. The list of the 13 correctional officers. We're going to list it up on the screen. The mind-blowing part is that a YouTube channel that I didn't know, and thank you to who put me onto this. One of our subscribers put me onto it. A YouTube channel called Long Island Audit out here on Long Island where I live. He lives out in Suffolk County. He's got a fairly large YouTube channel and a really big following. He went on January 3rd. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might have the dates wrong. But Long Island Audit, his name is Sean. He went out on January 3rd to Marcy Correctional. And the treatment that he received at Marcy was mind-blowing. If you have seen this video in the chat, put a 1. If you haven't seen the video, put a 2. Let me know. But he went there just to ask questions. As an independent journalist, as a YouTube channel, this is what he does. He goes around and asks questions. And he was basically, there was an inmate shoveling snow on, it didn't look like anybody was watching this inmate. He was out there shoveling snow. And he walked up to the inmate, not close to him, but said, "Hey, you better be careful in here. They're murdering people." So I'm going to play this. I have his channel linked in the description. I want you guys to see how friendly the sergeants and the corrections officers were to this guy. He asked them some really strong questions, Like he really came out and said to him, hey, do you denounce the murder by fellow correction officers of an inmate? And of course, I mean, legally, I don't think that they can make a comment on it, but they didn't, none of them said anything. The only one that said something was the New York State trooper. The New York State trooper said something. So let's watch this because this is interesting to say the least. Long Island Audit, Sean is linked in the description. He's exercising his First Amendment right and his New York State, which is the Right to Monitor Act. And it is a law. It's 79P of New York State law. It states that you can monitor in public areas any post office, correctional facility, police station, as long as you're not in a protected area or there's some limitations to it. But here's Sean. Let's listen. He's at Marcy Correctional. I'll put it full screen. You guys can watch it.
Are you guys part of the beatdown squad? Who beats a man with his hands cuffed behind his back? A coward does. Do you think the beating of a man is funny?
Please leave the area. The New York State Police will be called.
Call the state police. I'm not breaking any laws.
You are
I'm
not
not.
allowed to record on state property. See this right here?
That sign doesn't override the Constitution or the statutory law, sir.
Let's go.
You don't have probable cause to arrest those officers, the 14 officers that were engaged in that?
I can't comment on that.
So am I being detained?
For right now, you are.
For what crime?
Sean, right now they're determining whether or not they want you arrested for the crime of criminal trespass, which you actually committed when you went inside after they told you couldn't be recording in there. Past the signs where it says no cell phones allowed, and you remained in there unlawfully until they finally
That's
got you
not.
out and then you leave. Left.
That's not the crime of criminal trespass.
Sean, you're all set. There you go, Sean.
Have a good day, sir.
Take care.
Take care. Yeah.
Shake your hand, just
No,
shake
I'm good. I'm good.
Just as a heads up, again, I've never seen this channel, and I thank you to one of our listeners who put me onto it. You guys sent in your emails. I read them, and I went and watched this video, and I was glad that he did it because it takes, there's not many people do this. Not many people go and challenge and exercise their First Amendment right on video. And he asks these guys right in their face, do you denounce the murder of Robert Brooks? He says unaliving because I guess he doesn't want the monetization to be taken away. Like I say that freely here. I actually put it in the title, but I get it. There's rules. And if you're on TikTok, they don't like you saying that. Or if you're purposing it on another content, like another platform, you don't want to say murder. Look, I say it and look what YouTube does. They pretty much push, throttle back the video, but I call it as I see it. As Ed Wallace says, we call the balls and strikes. So it's murder.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We witnessed it on video. The video doesn't lie. That guy was murdered, beaten to death.
Guys, Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Today we're at the Marcy Correctional Facility here in Marcy, New York. We're here today, as always, to peacefully exercise our First Amendment right to film in public and publicly accessible areas, to promote transparency and accountability within our government, and to ensure that our public servants recognize our rights and treat us with respect. We are also here. Who are you? Couldn't even get through my intro there, ladies and gentlemen. Not supposed to be taking pictures of the facility. Marcy is the correctional facility that beat and murdered Robert Brooks.
Releasing that disturbing body cam video showing the beating that preceded the death of 43-year-old Robert Brooks, an inmate at Marcy Prison.
14 correctional officers, including a nurse, 2 sergeants, and COs.
Notice this inmate right here, dressed in all green, is shoveling. I don't see anybody watching him. So I guess maybe that's standard procedure. Like they allow certain inmates to be outside. I don't see any correctional officers watching him. Sean is able to walk right up to him. And I can't see anybody watching this guy. So Russ, you tell me if that's normal procedure, but the guy's shoveling snow in front of Marcy.
Beat him to death. Who are you? Who are you? It doesn't matter who you are? So why do you think you could tell me what I can and cannot do if it doesn't matter who you are, sir?
Facility, that's why.
Who says? You?
It's the rule, man.
It's the rules?
Yeah.
I'm actually conducting interviews about Robert Brooks. Are you one of the officers that engage in that kind of behavior where you beat inmates until they're dead? Is that what happens here? You got to be safe here, man. They're doing some crazy things here.
That inmate was just like, I'm just doing my job. The inmate heard what he said. You got to be careful here. But he said they're doing some crazy things here. So here's the sign. It says no cell phones allowed past this point. Return them to your vehicle. Return them to your vehicle. So there's a red sign that says no cell phones allowed past this point. Return it to your vehicle. He is, it looks like on a gimbal, perhaps with a cell phone or a camera. I don't know, but he's recording. It says it in red sign on this red sign, but according to 79P, the New York State Right to Monitor Act, this happened after George Floyd. New York State Right to Monitor Act, without a lack of a better word, trumps this cell phone sign. You can record and bring your cell phone in legally. So,
Are you one of the officers that violates people's constitutional rights? That kills people? Is that what you do? You want to answer any questions? Excuse me. Yeah.
and this is great because he is being very peaceful, and he's like, "Excuse me, do you want to answer any questions?" I mean, I love what this guy did. When I watched this video, I shared it with Ed, and I shared it with a couple other people, and I'm proud of what this guy did. And he actually wound up walking away. Nobody pressed any charges. He did not commit a crime, and they called the state police on him. The correction officers called the state police. Let's listen into this because I think this is important to see the demeanor of the corrections officers at Marcy Correctional, and he has some up close engagement with them.
I am allowed. It's my First Amendment right. That kills people? Is that what you do? You want to answer any questions? Excuse me. Yeah, I am allowed. It's my First Amendment right. What's your
Now, I want to highlight this comment because it's valid. Russ says he won't ask them how many inmates they saved, but we're looking at a murder on film, on body cam, on this body cam camera. Russ captured a brutal murder. And that's what this journalist, this YouTube journalist, is in there to ask those questions. What happened? Why isn't there an arrest? How come the people that were seen on that body cam footage are not in jail where they belong? Why didn't they get arrested yet? That's why he's there. He drove 5.5 hours from Long Island up to Marcy to ask these questions. So yeah, undoubtedly many inmates are saved by correction officers. And I watched a video from a long time ago of a Texas correction officer who had a heart attack and was saved by inmates. They came out of the holding pen and notified and got this guy medical attention, a correction officer. I watched the flip side of this, and we all know that there's two sides, but this is the story. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about this facility, what we saw, and that is it.
name and badge number? What's your name and badge number?
Sergeant Gentile. Okay,
Is your body camera on?
my body camera's on.
What was interesting is, and this is the last time I'll stop it, is this sergeant didn't even know his shield number. He had to actually go and look at it. He opens his wallet and looks at his badge and then tells him the badge number. I think that's because he doesn't get asked that question. This is probably one of the first time he's ever been challenged by somebody from the public. And he opens his wallet. Look, there's his ID right here, and then a shield.
Because there was.
Sir.
What's your name and badge number?
What?
What's your name and badge number?
Sergeant Gentile. Okay,
Is your body camera on?
my body camera's on.
Oh, because there was a lot of officers when they
My
beat
badge
Robert
number
Brooks.
is 4382.
When they
Right.
beat Robert Brooks, they didn't have their body cameras
Sir,
on,
I'm
did
gonna
they?
ask you to leave.
This is a publicly accessible area.
New York State,
This is the publicly accessible area,
policy
sir.
is you're not allowed to
What
report
happened?
on family.
What happened to Robert Brooks? Did that happen to a lot of inmates here, sir?
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to.
I have business here.
We're gonna call
You can call the state police all you want, sir. You can call them all you want. They should be here arresting people who are beating inmates.
Sir,
You are beating inmates to death,
sir.
callously and
you
with
cannot
malice. With no type of,
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
sir,
or
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
breaking,
call the state
you can
police.
call the state police. I'm not breaking any laws.
You are. You're
I am
not
not.
allowed to record on state property.
I am recording officials in the course of their
And it's
duty.
right here. No cell phones beyond this point.
Right.
So
I am
need you to
I
leave.
am engaged in a constitutionally and statutorily protected activity. New York
I need
State
you to
rights.
Step out.
Are you familiar with the New York State Right to Monitor Act? I have a right to film you in the course of your duty as a
I'm
public
gonna
servant.
ask you to leave. Or I'm
And
gonna call the state police.
let's talk about Robert Brooks, sir. Let's get
I'm
back on
not
point.
talking about Robert Brooks.
How many inmates have you killed here, sir? How many inmates?
Sir, I'm gonna have to.
How many inmates have died in your custody, sir? I would like to know. How many inmates have died in the custody of Marcy? Why was he even here? Wasn't he an inmate of Mohawk? What happened? I have a FOIL request here in my pocket as well, sir, that I would like to submit to the Marcy Correctional Facility.
Okay, doctor on call again. This is the first time I'm looking at any of his content. I like this. Okay, I'm not looking at your past. I'm not looking at his past. I'm looking at this video and going into Marcy Correctional, and the tone of what is going on there is what I'm gauging this by. And there's been no arrests to date after 30 days. Okay, I don't care about this guy's past. What I care about is this video right here. And this will show you what is going on at Marcy Correctional right now.
Immediately, as soon as I get here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at them. You guys are nothing but a bunch of cowards. You beat a man with that's handcuffed behind his back. You beat a man that's handcuffed. What a kind of coward by the beatdown squad, no?
Tell them to stay in that van, whoever is in that van.
So how many times a week do you beat men with their hands cuffed behind their back? Sergeant, there was 2 sergeants there that day, right? Your same rank?
Sir, I'm gonna have
And
to
they
ask you to
beat
leave.
and they beat a man with his hands behind his back,
Sir,
right?
come over here, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Sir, you can call the state police. I'll wait for them. They have a job to do. They should be arresting the people involved. That's what they should be doing, not worrying about a cameraman exercising his constitutional rights. Those officers are still free till this day.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
They're free till this day.
Come on.
And that's ridiculous. No, I'm in a publicly accessible area. And I'm told you I'm engaged in a constitutionally and statutory protected activity.
See this right here?
That sign doesn't override the Constitution or the statutory law, sir.
Let's go.
It doesn't.
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to step out.
I could see by the response here today, by the first officer and the looks on all these officers, this is what the type of behavior you guys engage in here, huh? Here at Marcy
Ask
Correctional
you to leave
Facility.
politely.
I have every right to be. Not one of them.
Okay, I just fast forwarded because that goes on for a long time. I wanted to fast forward it to when the state police comes. And the state police, New York State Police, they show up and they basically tell them, okay, we know, let's listen to what the state police say. You got it right from here. There's a 1 trooper and then 2 sergeants show up.
Not one of them will condemn the vicious and brutal beating of a man that ended his life while his hands were handcuffed behind his back. Not one of them. Not one of them will say, I condemn that behavior. Wow. Speaks volumes.
All right, here comes the trooper now.
Hey, sir, how are you? I'm doing well, sir. A little chilly out, but doing well. Man, you mind if I get your name and badge number, sir?
Absolutely. It's Triple Lawrence 2337.
Hi, trooper. How are you? My name is Sean.
How you doing?
I'm an independent journalist. I'm doing well. I'm just here. As you know, there was a man that was viciously murdered here.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm here to ask some questions, film the government officials here in the course of their duty,
Sure.
In accordance with the New York State Right to Record Act,
Mhm.
as well as the First Amendment. Just asking questions. I'm not going into restricted areas, but you know, I'm glad that you're here, Trooper, because I know there's like 11 or 12 correctional officers that need to be arrested. I can show you a video where they unalived a man and beat a man.
Yeah.
I think you should go and arrest them.
It's actually under investigation by BCI right now.
Well,
And-
what's BCI?
The Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
Is that like an arm of like the state police?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and it's under investigation. But what?
Yes.
I mean, didn't we all watch the video of the man getting beaten with his hands behind his back, handcuffed?
We saw that it is under investigation right now. You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, his hands were cuffed behind his back. He was beaten right here in Marcy Correctional Facility, and he died
He did that
as a result of those injuries, which is insane to me. So I'm just saying. I mean, you're a law enforcement officer. You should probably. If I was a law enforcement officer, I would go to their house and arrest them, right?
Well, I can't make
I know for a fact that if you or I, as civilians, beat somebody on house camera footage from inside a store, footage from anywhere, if we're being recorded beating someone to death, if it was me as a civilian, I'm not a cop anymore. If it was you as a civilian, if it was anybody in this chat that did what we saw on that body cam footage, there would be cops at your front door and you'd be under arrest. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Anybody that's watching this live or replay, let me know if I'm talking out of line. Let me know in the chat. If it was you that did that beat somebody to death on camera, would you be allowed to stay home for Christmas, to stay home for New Year's, and walk freely and go to the store and be free? Would you be able to pull that off? Let me know. I'm all open. I'm all ears, folks. And this guy spells it out. This state trooper says, yeah, I watched it. It's under investigation. What do you need to investigate? Come on.
making the arrest on that. So it's
You don't have probable cause with that
innocent.
video?
It's innocent. BCI right now.
Well,
And-
what's BCI?
The Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
Is that like an arm of like the state police?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and it's under investigation. But what?
Yes.
I mean, didn't we all watch the video of the man getting beaten with his hands behind his back,
Thank you.
handcuffed?
We saw that it is under investigation right now. You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, his hands were cuffed behind his back. He was beaten right here in Marcy Correctional Facility, and he died
He did that
as a
yes.
result of those injuries, which is insane to me. So I'm just saying. I mean, you're a law enforcement officer. You should probably. If I was a law enforcement officer, I would go to their house and arrest them, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't make any arrest on that. So it's
You don't have probable cause with that
innocent-
video?
It's innocent to proven guilty right now. So actually, the attorney.
All you need
General's
is
office-
probable cause
The attorney general's office is actually turning this over to a
to the county, right? To a county. Yep.
Onondaga County prosecutor.
I saw that. I saw that yesterday. Yeah, I saw that. They are turning it over to a special prosecutor. They're going to make them a special prosecutor in the case.
Yes. So
I
that
saw
actually
that.
just happened yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
James made an announcement about that.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have enough probable cause to arrest someone.
I don't at this point right now.
You
no.
don't?
No, this is going
You
to
have
be
no probable
This is
cause?
going to be taken care of by investigators.
All right. I mean, if you don't have any problem, I think we all witnessed probable cause, sir. I think we all witnessed probable cause for at least the beating of that man, if not the unaliving of him.
Well, we have to wait until everything comes into court and it's taken care of via the justice system.
They have to get to court first and shown to be the scum that they are, the despicable, murderous scum that they are. Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
Hi. You mind if I just get your name and badge number so I know who's here?
Sure, Trooper Hartman, 124.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Stay safe. Hey, how you guys doing today?
Here's the sergeant now.
You mind if I get your name and badge number, sir?
Sergeant Nick Leone, Shield 918.
Thank you. My name is Sean, sir. I'm an independent journalist. Yeah, I'm asking some questions about Robert Brooks' incident that happened here a couple days ago.
Okay.
I'm not going to restricted areas or anything.
Okay.
I just want to let you know.
Okay.
You're not gonna have any issues with me, sir. You know,
Okay.
I'm just asking questions.
You said
Do you-
Sean?
Yeah, Sean. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, sir. From Long Island. Yeah. I'm an independent journalist. That's fine. Yeah. So, you don't have probable cause to arrest those officers, the 14 officers that were engaged in that?
I can't comment on that investigation. I'm
All
sorry.
right. I mean, you saw the video, right?
Yes, I did see the video.
You saw the video.
I-
Do you condemn that kind of behavior?
I can't comment.
You can't say you condemn that kind of behavior.
Listen,
The governor condemned it.
I understand that, and I agree. I don't condone that, but I can't really comment on the.
I just think,
investigation.
sir, I think, sir, that public servants need to come out and call out the other bad ones, so that way you know, you don't look as bad. None of those correctional officers that came out to speak to me, none of them would condemn it. It's not a controversial topic. It's not.
I understand that.
It's not.
He literally asked every one of them, do you condemn what happened on body cam to Robert Brooks? And of course, I mean, look, I don't think that that they are allowed to comment on it, but this sergeant basically said, I don't condone that. Once Sean said to him, the governor came out and condemned it. The governor, his boss, that's like the mayor of New York. He runs the NYPD. You know, he's in charge, the mayor. So he said the governor condemned it. And then when he heard him say that, he said, I don't condone it either. This guy's a nice guy, by the way. And the other sergeant that comes up is a little abrasive with Sean. But the reason I'm showing this is because I want you guys to see the tone of how it is. Like, these good guys, these good correction officers, they all should be disgusted by what they saw. And it just, watching this video, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I don't give a fuck. When I watched this video, it made my stomach turn because none of them could say, hey, I get what you're doing, guy, but listen, we have rules and regulations we got to follow. I appreciate what you're doing, but I really can't comment. Just like what the sergeant did here. They really just stonewalled him. And they were just, I don't know, man. It just didn't sit right with me.
You're not part of the investigation.
I'm not a part of the investigation.
Right. So you could, I don't know. I don't know. Should be easy to condemn. Hey, how you doing, sir? Good. How are you, sir? Good. You mind if I get your badge number, sir?
Trooper call 394.
My name is Sean. Thanks, Trooper.
Okay.
So essentially, the troopers are inside asking the corrections if they want to press charges and have him arrested. Ultimately, they say no, and he walks away from this. But again, you know, it just blows my mind that nobody's arrested. I mean, let me know in the comments or in the comment section or in the live chat or the replay. I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel about a murder that was on body cam footage, on video, and no arrests 31 days later? Again, I'm repeating myself, but if it was all of us, any of us that did this, any civilian, any person, anybody, period, commits this type of beating captured on video, you're going to have a squad of detectives, a whole host of people coming to wherever you are and locking your ass up. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I'm outraged. I'm disgusted. I'm waiting. I even bet my whole pension that these guys would be locked up within days because I was that sure after viewing what we all viewed that these correction officers who were beating Robert Brooks would be in custody, in handcuffs, locked up.
You came all the way up from Long Island?
Yeah, I travel all across the country, sir.
Really?
Yeah, I travel all across the country.
What's your YouTube?
Yeah,
What is
I have YouTube, all types of social media and
Okay.
website. Long Island Audit, sir.
Oh, Long Island. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All
Long
right.
Island Audit.
The famous Sean from Long Island.
Yeah.
So he knows. He said the famous Sean from Long
Yeah,
Island.
just asking questions, you know, just trying to figure it out. You know, that I saw the video and I was like, I got to drive up there 5 hours.
No, that's
I got to drive
fine.
5 up there to just ask some questions, you know.
Yeah. No,
It seems just the way it happened. It just seems like it happens more than you would think. Like,
I understand where you're coming from.
yeah, it's crazy, and I think the people have the right to know. You know, I don't see any other journalists coming over here, and you know,
No.
I don't see ABC and CNN, Fox News coming over here asking questions. So
Not one news station is covering this. Look, I'm covering it, and YouTube is suppressing. They're purposely making it so it doesn't go out to a lot of people. But I'm going to continue to do it until there's arrests, and even after that, I don't care. I don't care if not a lot of people see it. I'm going to shout this from the rooftops. This is wrong on 100 different levels. This is wrong on every level of humanity. It's insane.
As long as you're not violating any laws, we're not
Right.
here to infringe on anyone's freedom of speech or
Yeah.
First Amendment.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that, sir.
You know,
I
obviously
appreciate
we
that
have to show up
because
we
they
can-
called you,
we
right?
get called. We
This
conduct
sergeant is a good guy.
investigation. We determine if there's any criminality and what's going on, and then we act accordingly from there.
Gotcha. Yeah. I try and always be in accordance with the law, statutes. New York State Right to Monitor Act is very important. You know, it deals with this directly, filming
Okay.
peace officers, security officers.
I'm being filmed now.
Right. I mean, I don't think anybody should really. We're all being filmed. You know, we're all being filmed. You know, I just think it's ridiculous that these guys got to stay home with their families for Christmas
Thank you.
after committing such a heinous act, and yet we got the other Luigi Mangione, who's not a public servant, who's being paraded with the mayor behind him, the corrupt mayor who's indicted by the FBI, by the Justice Department, and he's being paraded through the streets like some type of serial killer and terrorist. I mean, I could say I condemn that senseless killing, but no one else can condemn this merciless, brutal
Murder.
It's his hands were cut behind his back.
No,
His hands were cut behind his back. It's crazy. It's crazy. No matter what he did to be here, that's not right. That's just not right.
All right, so you get the idea. He basically, at the end of it, everyone shakes hands. One of the sergeants who was telling him he should give back all his money that he makes from doing this to I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something stupid. And then at the end he wants to shake Sean's hand and he doesn't shake his hand. But basically, I just want to go to the end of it where they let him go.
And what makes it different?
You're right. Correctional facility is not secure to exclude intruders.
I mean, it's not. I got here without
Absolutely.
this part is, that part over there is,
Nope, I got it.
that part over there is. I'm telling you, it's in the statutes, in the elements.
No criminal trespass charges. Sean, you're all set.
No criminal trespass charges.
Here you go, Sean.
Have a good day, sir.
Take care.
Take care. Yeah.
Shake your hand, just shake
No, I'm
your
good. I'm good. Have a good day.
Take care. Drive carefully. Drive careful, Sean.
I will. Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
So no arrests, no charges. What he was doing was his right to do it. Again, a lot of people, you know, again, I have friends from the corrections field. They may or may not agree with what I'm saying. Is the act that was performed, the murder, the beating of Robert Brooks was on video. We've never seen that in New York State. I've never seen it from a correctional facility in New York State. It was shocking. It's not their first rodeo. That's not their first beating that these guys have given. I've talked to some people who know these guys. I've kept their names private because they reached out to me, and I know a bit about some of the backgrounds of some of these murderers, and they deserve to be locked up. And that's what I will leave you guys all with. And I want to thank everyone who's given super chats. Barbara Breen, thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you for the new membership. Barbara Ann Bream, again, Mod Squad, thank you. My husband worked for the Department of Corrections 32 years. Those COs would have been gone immediately. Love and prayers, DutyRon. Different day and age, right? The Ugly Doctor. Your words on this mean so much, DutyRon. I'm going to keep screaming it from the rooftops. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I have my opinion, and my opinion, I think, resonates and rings with the majority. If you can look at this and say anything but this was murder and that these guys deserve to be in jail, they should be in Marcy Correctional in general population, as far as I'm concerned. They don't deserve to be in protective custody. They should have to fend for themselves, just the way Robert Brooks had to fend for himself with being handcuffed and shackled. Thank you, Amazing Ant. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. Beautiful Messy Ball, thank you. Write and call the legislatures and the DA, call for arrests. Absolutely. Katrina, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Ron, second time on here. This is disgraceful. No one's given a brief or angry, to say at least. We're people that should be out protesting. People should be out protesting. And you know what? They will be out protesting, but you know, we have to wait to see what the government's going to do. But Ugly Doctor, thank you for the super chat. This is despicable on so many levels. I don't know how to express to you any other way than to go live and tell you guys that this is deplorable. This is, I mean, it's a travesty of justice. You think about it. Put your shoe in the foot of Robert Brooks and his family. How could his family be feeling right now? How could the people who have suffered losses in the past feel good about this? No arrests made. You got an independent journalist, this guy Sean, going up from Long Island, taking a 5-hour ride because he said it himself, no ABC, no NBC, no CNN, no News Nation, all the regular ones that cover this 2 weeks ago when it was breaking, when the body cam footage was released December 27th or 28th by Letitia James, everybody was on it. Then now it's crickets. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's despicable. It's disgusting. I hope that you stick with me. I hope you guys subscribe and take a chance here. We're going to continue to talk about this. I have Ricardo Moore, who's going to join us soon to talk about his experience in that hub. Marcy Correctional is in the hub with Mohawk and Mid-State. He was beaten along with 28 other inmates in 2016 and filed a lawsuit. Ricardo Moore filed a lawsuit in was beaten in 2016, but filed a lawsuit and was successful just right before this beating just before this murder came down. I can't even call it a beating. They were successful in suing New York State, and I'm going to have him come on and talk about how his experience was with New York State Department of Corrections in this very hub. Marcy, Mohawk, and Mid-State, it's all right there. They're all in the same facility, in that same vicinity, I say. So thank you for being here. God bless. We will see you soon. Prayers for the family of Robert Brooks and all victims of crime, of murder, and their families, and prayers to the victims of the fires in California. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. Take care.